Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are doing well today. Today I wanted to talk about humility, and I'm about to cut this guy's nails, and believe me, you have to be humble to do that. This little guy right here. Look at the camera. Look at the camera, Joshua. That's Joshua. They also call him Bubba. DMAR, I know you would want to see that, right? But there it is. Right there. I'll be back in a second. I'll get to you again, buddy. I'm gonna, so I just gotta wash my hands here. I'm gonna cut his nails. I don't like doing that at all. I have to be very careful. Yeah, I want to talk about humility today. And that was for you, DMAR, right? I don't know if you said you had a rabbit or not, but in any case. For me, I do have to be humble to cut his nails, because I put him down and I put him on a towel, and yeah, it's just really, it's tough to do his nails. So you know, after a while their hearts are beating so hard and they flinch, and they don't, you know, some rabbits are better than others, but yeah. Before I get into the subject of humility, I just wanted to raise this, and I'm not saying this is what this is, but when I went to bed last night, I saw a video. You know, at the end of the night, I listened to some Christian videos as I'm going to, you know, just about to go to bed, and I was looking at the topic of Three-Eye Atlas. And, you know, these interstellar objects, you know, whether these are deceptions, I don't know. But Apophis, they certainly come at an opportune time, don't they? They come at the time. And I thought, wouldn't it be an excellent thing if this actually happened? They're saying that there's no, on the comet, asteroid, whatever you want to call it, they don't even know what it is. Three-Eye Atlas, which is much bigger than Oumuamua or Apophis. And I'm not saying Apophis is interstellar, but the 3 stands for the third one found in that series. So they only know of 3 interstellar objects, and this third one that they've found, they said it's a 1 in 20,000 chance by a Harvard professor that it is on the course that it is. It seems to be following the course of the planets, but it came from interstellar space. It's moving in strange ways. There's no silic dust. Isn't it funny that they pretend they know what is further out in space? You know, like they're expecting something like, I'm just saying, if there was no God, which is probably what most of them believe, you know, they're probably going off the Big Bang and stuff like that, right? So they're thinking we know all these materials, but what if it was something never seen, right? They're saying it's come from interstellar space, so it has no trail, like all comets that they've looked at since however long they've had telescopes. And I watched this Christian video last night, and one of the properties that they're seeing that was very strange in this is the glow coming from it. It has a really bright glow coming from it. You can see, you probably understand what I'm already getting at. Maybe not, but It's going to pass, I think, behind the sun, so it's going to disappear. And when things get close to the sun, what happens is, and they're not seeing that in this, is that that dust, or that the glow, I don't know how to explain it. Whatever glow was in it is not moving. So I don't know if how do I explain this? So if this is the oh no, I'm not going to use that. To save this red cup. If this is a sun, I don't know, the Earth is closer to the camera, okay? So the Earth is here, the sun's here, so it's going to pass behind it. It's going to pass behind it, it's going to disappear here. Oh no, I forgot what I was even going to say. Yes, when something gets that close to the sun, right? So it's back here. The sun is, you know, the radiation, the UV waves, the power of magnetism, all the things that are representative of what the sun does to something, like something so small compared to the sun. It tends to push the dust not towards the Earth, but away. So if you're the Earth, okay, let's say the Earth is here. Here's the sun. It's going to pass behind. Whatever is on this, the glow and the dust, I don't know, that's how I perceive it, is supposed to, in their shots that they take, and all the views that they take, pictures, from the Hubble and the Webb, I forget how to say that, but it gets pushed the opposite way, and it's not moving at all. And they've never seen that before. So, very strange. It seems to be intact. Nothing is bothering it. And so, from what they perceive, like and this is about being humble. I'm going to get to it, but I thought you guys would find this interesting. Despite the size of it, of what it looks like, the nucleus, which is the actual size of this object, I believe it's 3 miles wide, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's 12 miles long. 12, right? And then this person, they just put it up on their thing. I watched some of their video, and some of the stuff they believed was out there, but you know, like they thought the millennial kingdom had already happened in year 1000 or something like that. That would mean that David would have had to have been a prince, Jesus would have been living with them. Of course not. But in any case, she said, it's the New Jerusalem. I thought that would interest you. The properties of that, it's not moving, it's so bright, and it's coming. I just thought I'd put that in your mind. I'm not saying that's what it is, but wouldn't it be cool if it was? Yeah. So, yeah, guys, let me pace for a second. I'm going to talk about being humble. Not just with being a Christian, believer, but in all things, in every single thing that you do. What if you're not a humble person? I believe you can become a humble person. I do believe you can become a humble person. It depends on many things, but if you're a believer and you're starting to have another, you know, a better understanding of Jesus Christ and all those things, I believe the more you search diligently, the more you understand the things of Christ, I think those things will generally come to you. But obviously it depends on our personality, it depends on a whole bunch of different things. It depends what we've come from. It depends on personality. It depends on if you're really short-fused. You know, there are people like that, and at one point I was kind of like that, but only because I had all these undiagnosed things in my abdomen, so I would be not purposely I wouldn't be like that, but I could, you know, the feelings that were coming from me are very intense, and that could look that way. In any case, give me a sec. Like I was talking about yesterday in a video, you know, I revealed a lot yesterday about myself. Developing patience. It's not easy, but that's one of the keys. I think if you read the Bible cover to cover from Genesis to Revelation, and you keep going that way, and you keep doing that, you'll understand the character of God. I do believe so. If you put your heart and your mind into it, if you put your heart into it, like I said, we all have different personalities. You know, we can have thoughts come across our mind. We're just human. And I think Paul, the apostle, said this in many of his passages. There are many things he wanted to probably brag about and say things about, but he had a thorn in his flesh. You know, we have things in our life we have done. You know, you may have won something, you may have won an award, you may get a really good job, a degree. Who knows what it is? You've done some good things in your life, worthy of being talked about, but not by you, not in a way that raises you and actually lowers, I wouldn't say lower Christ, but I wish you would think that way. I think people really appreciate someone who listens. This is something huge right here, what I'm going to say. And I actually ask you, if you have trouble with patience, if you have trouble with patience with people, and you want to learn to be more humble in everything you do, which is the embodiment of Christ, the Father, is to be patient in all things, slow to wrath, slow to speak, right? And that can be pretty tough when you suffer things like trauma, when you're suffering with a lot of physical pain. How do you be calm with a person that may not be so good to you? You're going to come across, if you go out in the outside world, you're going to come across a lot of that. See, you and I want to be known. We want to be the mirror of Jesus Christ, so we can show the world what love is. So we have to mirror that. People are going to see that once you do this. So when I started my university, I think this would just be just as important as learning humility. This is humility. What I'm going to tell you here, if you have these troubles or you want to, man, I ask you to go into this anyways, because this will help you just as much as any part in the Bible about humility, okay? Just humility. This wasn't even that long ago that they discovered this, and it's called motivational interviewing. So it was my first class. I had two classes in a module, and my first one was motivational interviewing, one of my two classes. And they teach you something called active listening. Have you ever heard of active listening? That is probably the best skill a human being could have. I ask you to go and research that. I'll tell you about it, and it matches what humility is. Okay? Do you notice that Christians, just people who believe, okay? Because Christians, you use that word Christians, and that could, be a general term for people who don't really believe. So I just want to say believers. Pardon, I got to get out of this picture again. I got to get more water into me too. I do not like cutting my rabbit's nails, man. Because I put him down, I put him on the counter. Because if I put him on the counter, he will not jump away. And I just do his front first. I just do his front feet. You know, the rabbit of Judah, the Lion of Judah, the rabbit of Judah. So I don't know how to say the rabbit of Judah is like a lamb. They really are. If there was another creature like a lamb, it would be a rabbit. So innocent and cute. Their front paws, you could snap them like a twig. They are so fragile, but yet they're so agile. So you have to be really careful. And then they're there. Their hearts are going, you know, I don't know, it could be 300 beats a minute. It's really, really quick, and you feel sorry for them. And then you kind of get angry because you're like, oh man, just stay still, and you have to be humble. So, active listening. What is active listening? So it matches one of the things that is one of God's attributes: slow to speak, slow to wrath, slow to anger. We don't shed blood and stuff like that. I don't match that one up with active listening, but I want to give you a proper, I can't explain it, but I want to give you a proper definition. I'll just, hey, it's ChatGPT 5 now, because that's new today. They put that out, probably because of the other AIs that they're trying to keep up with. So, definition of active listening. Active listening is a communication skill where you focus fully on what the other person is saying, you understand their message, you respond thoughtfully, and remember what was said. So you give full attention to no distractions. How many people do you know that are like this today? Give full attention, no distractions. Maintain eye contact using encouraging body language. Show that you're engaged, nodding, affirm what they're saying. Hey, I hear you. Stuff like that. Go on. Clarify, asking questions if something isn't clear. Paraphrasing. So repeat key points in your words back to them. Reflect. Reflect what they've said. People like to know they have been heard, eh? And when you reflect back to them, this is the nature of counseling and therapy and stuff like that. You just basically, you summarize in short what they've said to you so they know you understand. So repeat those key points in your words to confirm understanding. You may already be a good listener and understand this. And then you respond appropriately, matching your tone and response to the speaker's needs. The goal is to make the speaker feel heard, respected, and understood, not just to wait your turn to talk. This skill of active listening it will take you places. It will. And people will know you're a good listener. In any case, this is about being humble. And I think this is one of the keys. Listen to people. And whatever situations you come across, God is not a spirit of fear. We know this. Be anxious for nothing. And if you know my story, I have many things to fear, right? I do. I used to wake up in fear for good reasons. But when I felt I had Jesus, when I felt I had the Lord with me, it got better and better. And that's why they say from faith to faith, from situation to situation, we bring our faith everywhere we go. So you may come across many different situations, people asking you for help, people who may be conversational hogs, people may be rude to you. We are not of the world, but we have to live in the world. It's really hard to explain, eh? When you know that, be very slow to speak after you know an argument has ensued. Try to be the better person. Try to figure out what it is going on here. And it's not to say that, you and I aren't going to swear someone out because we flew off the handle because it was that bad. But if we do, and if it's warranted, and you should anyways, unless someone is purposely trying to hurt you, tell that person you're sorry and try to work it out with them. That's what I believe humility is. And if you stay like that in a contrite spirit, like I said, there are many people out there who brag about things. You've probably seen that to the utmost, right? That's today. That's what 2 Timothy is talking about, right? What is it, 2 Timothy 3? The way that people would be in the end times, try not to be that. They say fake it till you make it. I do believe in this case that can work. Even if you don't really feel it, keep doing it and you will watch the result. But I want you to know, but not just to look at on the outside. Remember the cup, right, that Jesus talked about. We want it to be on the inside too. But you have to practice these things too. It's not just going to come naturally to you. So, yeah, and it's okay to talk about the things that, hey, like my university and stuff, but it's not okay to go bragging about it, right? In any case, where does that get a person except, yeah. I wish I could go a little deeper in this, but I have to cut my rabbits now. So, what I said, active listening, go research that, go look at that, and I believe if you become a good active listener, it does with everyone, every single person, because if you're willing to listen to people, then you'll understand them so much better. If you are the person that stops and listens, you can help people with solutions. In any case, guys, God bless. I love you all.